Two teams will emerge from the Final Four on Saturday night in Phoenix for the right to be crowned national champions of men's college basketball. It's going to be NC State versus Purdue, and Alabama facing off with UConn. New York Post sports reporter and college basketball guru Zach Braziller. He's out in Phoenix covering the Final Four, and he joins me now for a preview of Saturday's games. Zach, what's going on, man?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited for these games on Saturday night. I know you and I both were hoping they're good games and we'll move forward towards the national championship game. But, Zach, let's start with NC State and their journey to get here, which for many people has been a surprise. What has been the key to their success in the tournament thus far?
Yeah, I mean, it's been consistency. Like, if you think about it, they've won 9 straight elimination games, which is pretty incredible. You know, they entered the ACC tournament really going nowhere. You know, they had lost 4 straight. It'd been a really disappointing season. Kevin Keats probably was going to get fired, honestly. And here they are. They've won 9 straight elimination games. 2 went to overtime. But it's been consistency. You know, they were a very inconsistent team during the season. They had a bunch of new players, a bunch of new transfers, and they've just found a way, you know, just to play consistently. They've been really good at both ends of the floor. Obviously, DJ Burns Jr. has been terrific in the post. DJ Horn on the perimeter. Mike O'Connell, the point guard out of Chaminade High School, Long Island, has been terrific. Hit that buzzer beater in the ACC tournament semifinals against Virginia. They've just been so solid. You know, that's the thing. Like, if you watch, there isn't one thing when you watch them that you say, well, they're just doing amazing. They're just doing everything. They're just solid across the board. You know, they're getting posts, they're getting scoring in the paint, they're defending very well. Mohamed Diarra has been a terrific two-way player. You know, it's just been everything across the board. It's like all of a sudden this is kind of the team everyone thought you would see all year with all their new guys, and they've just been so good across the board. There's just been, you know, you really haven't seen any weaknesses, you know, in this run from them.
Yeah, and you used the word there, Zach, consistent. That's what they've been throughout this tournament, as you mentioned, winning 9 elimination games in a row. Now, on the other side, Purdue, they've been strong all season. How do you see the Boilermakers' size and physicality impacting this semifinal matchup?
It's such a fascinating matchup when you look at Edey against Burns. You know, you have the guy who's been the most dominant college basketball player the last 2 years, the first National Player of the Year repeat winner, you know, in since Ralph Sampson in 1981 to 1983. And then you have DJ Burns, who's this, you know, guy that people think should play football. He said he's not. He's 6'9", 275. He's, you know, for his, you know, build, he's just so athletic and so nimble. You know, look, he's not jumping through the roof, obviously, but he's been so hard to guard. Now, he's given up 7 inches to Edey, but I'm just, you know, to me tonight, that's the most intriguing matchup player to player tonight is Edey against Burns, because, you know, nobody's really been able to stop Burns here for 9 games. And now you have Edey, who we all know how dominant he is in the post. And, you know, these two guys are going to go up against each other. And I'm just, you know, I'm just so incredible. I'm just so interested just to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see it. I want to see if DJ Burns can continue to keep cooking as he's been doing in these games. He's been really impressive thus far. Moving over to the other game and talk about Alabama versus UConn. Alabama coach Nate Oates, he's had some big upsets in his career, especially during his time coaching at Buffalo. His team, it's a big underdog in this one against UConn. Zach, what do the Crimson Tide have to do in order to knock off the defending champs?
Hit 1 million threes, okay? They got to hit, to me, at least 15 or 16 threes to have a shot. Now, can they? Sure. They have a ton of three-point shooters. They love shooting the three. You know, Oates was asked yesterday, is there any such thing as too many threes? And he said, no, there is not. You know, his philosophy is basically all layups, dunks, or threes. You know, he was a former math teacher, you know, and he was big into statistics, and, you know, the analytics say those are the valuable shots, you know, shots at the rim and threes. They're not going to do what Illinois did, which is basically keep just trying to score over Donovan Clingan. Didn't work for Illinois. You're not going to see that. They're going to, you know, try to spread UConn out. They're going to get up and down. I think they're going to take 50 threes. Could they make 20 of them? If they do, they have a shot to pull an upset. I do think it's competitive. I do not think Alabama wins. I don't think anyone's beaten UConn. But if Alabama has one of those wild nights from three, maybe we get a surprise.
Ooh, 15 to 23s. If they hit that, yeah, I want to see that. I don't want to see them hit all those threes. It'll be good. They're like, nope, we don't need to care about the mid-range at all. No need to do that. Let's just throw up some threes. All right, we'll see how that one goes. On UConn's side, Zach, how much of UConn winning this game is on player who's been tremendous, Donovan Clingan, continuing to produce like he has throughout the tournament? And is this a matchup that you expect the Husky center to dominate here on Saturday night?
Yeah, look, Alabama really doesn't have an answer for him. They don't really have, they're gonna look to try to get him out of the lane with, their stretch big Grant Nelson, who can really shoot the three. Clingan should dominate the paint. I don't. That to me is why I have a hard time seeing Alabama win this game. Is I just don't think they have an answer for Clingan at either end of the floor. He absolutely owned Illinois the other day. Illinois kind of plays similar, in terms of its bigs to Alabama. Although, they obviously have Dana Danger, who's, more of a true big than anyone Alabama has. But yeah, I would be, look, if Clingan gets in foul trouble, that's the one area you can hurt UConn because Samson Johnson isn't nearly as good as him. And then you can kind of hurt UConn in the paint. But if he stays on the floor, it's going to be very, very hard for Alabama to contend with Clingan.
All right, Clingan been pretty dominant throughout this tournament. Very impressive player for UConn. Zach, I'm assuming you're going with UConn because that is your pick to win the whole thing. I'm also assuming that you're picking Purdue in the first game to win over NC State, correct?
I am. UConn, okay. Purdue, as I felt last Sunday's Purdue-Tennessee game, the winner was going to the championship game. I think it's UConn, Purdue. And to me, it would kind of be shades of 2007. Everyone's talked about Florida, the last team to repeat. And if you remember that 2007, Florida beat Ohio State and its dominant big man, Greg Oden, in the title game. Oden obviously didn't have the career anyone thought he would, but he did have a terrific freshman year, and he was great in that game. I kind of see the same thing happening here. I think UConn will win, but I think Zach Edey will play very well. So I think we're getting kind of like a 2007 throwback with the great team against the great big man.
All right, well, we're going to move on to that after this. Semifinal games tonight. Zach will be back with me to preview the national championship game, which will go down on Monday. We will see how this all plays out. Zach, enjoy the national semifinal games tonight. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too.